ललितगतिविलासवल्गुहास प्रणयनिरीक्षणकल्पितोरुमाना कृतमनुकृतवाद्य उन्मदान्धाः प्रकृतिमगन् किल यस्य गोपवध्वा।
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। हरे कृष्ण। Bhisma Stuti, 9th shloka, given in Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 9th chapter, and text number 40. And in this particular shloka, Bhisma Dev is telling us about the process of devotion. In one word, the process of devotion as given by Bhisma Dev, a Mahajana, is glorification of Lord is done by glorifying his devotees. Yes. And that's why in this particular shloka, Bhisma Dev is glorifying gopis, the relationship of gopis with Lord Shri Krishna. So, before coming on to the shloka per se, if we analyze the scene, the scene when Bhisma Dev is offering this shloka to Lord Shri Krishna, it's the scene of the middle of battlefield in Kurukshetra, when both the armies are fighting intensely with each other. There's so much chaos going around. There's a matter of life and death for every soldier, for every military personnel. In so much anxiousness. And in that scene, Bhisma Dev, he is offering these prayers to Lord Shri Krishna. So through this, the very first teaching what we get is that devotion brings focus. Yes, and Srila Prabhupada brings this point out very beautifully in his purport actually. And Srila Prabhupada writes that Bhisma Dev was in samadhi, a state of trance, because otherwise it was not possible for any human being to, in the middle of the battlefield, to remember the relationship of gopis with Lord Shri Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada writes, while on one hand we have yogis, jnanis and dhyanis, yogi, jnani and dhyanis, they do severe penances and austerities. They go to Himalaya, they study volumes of scriptures, all mechanical, to get their focus upon the effulgence of Lord. While on the other hand, we have here Bhisma Dev, a pure devotee. By his natural tendency in pure love and affection, he is able to focus upon the perspiration, upon the lotus face of the Lord, upon the dust over his hair, and he is able to offer glorification to Lord Shri Krishna. This is the state of trance, and this is achieved by simple devotional process, Bhakti Yoga. That's why Srila Prabhupada brings Bhakti Yoga in every verse of Bhagavad Gita. This is the practical process for this age. Navdha Bhakti, offering food to the Lord, deity worship, Shravanam, Kirtanam, all practical processes for this age. So this is the beauty, this is the glorification of devotional service. So this is the very first point. And now coming on to the shloka per se, Bhisma Dev here in the very beginning, he brings out this point that Arjuna was very fortunate. Yes, Arjuna was fortunate for having received the fraternal service of the Lord. Yes, Lord was serving him in fraternal mood by becoming his chariot driver. But Lord did not award him equal strength as in the case of gopis, as very beautifully brought out by Bhismadev, that what the gopis are doing, the gopis' relationship with the Lord was at completely different level. In fact, at a higher level. In fact, it was the highest level. What the gopis were doing, they were dancing with the Lord. They were embracing the Lord in conjugal love. They were joking with him. They were smiling at him. So this, Srila Prabhupada says, this was like as if a devotee had become one with the Lord. And this oneness, this, Srila Prabhupada says, this is the qualitative oneness with the Lord. This should not be misunderstood. The oneness of the Sayujya liberation, where the spiritual identity merges with the Lord. In fact, that state where the spiritual identity gets merged with the Lord is mentioned in the scriptures as 𝗙𝗹𝘆𝗆𝗆 narakayate. Because when a devotee loses his spiritual identity, he is not able to serve the Lord. Because service is only possible when there are 2 points. One who accepts the service and one who does the service. One is a master and the other is a servant. So if it becomes one, service is not possible. And hence it is like a hell for a devotee. 𝗙𝗹𝘆𝗆𝗆 narakayate. While here the oneness is qualitative oneness. Srila Prabhupada explains it that the interest of the lover and the beloved become one. And what was the interest of the gopis? Srila Prabhupada writes very beautifully that the gopis were endowed with unrivaled opportunities. Unrivaled opportunities for rendering loving service to the Lord. This is the perfection of devotion. In fact, the gopis, they became, here Srila Prabhupada writes, Unmad Andaha, gone mad in ecstasy. It was not just love. There are levels beyond love also. As mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 19th chapter. There, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Prem Vriddhi Krame Nam. That Prem, when increased sequentially, Prem Vriddhi Krame Nam. Snehe, Man, Pranay, Rag, Anurag, Bhav, Mahabhav hoye. In such heightened state of loving service, there are various symptoms in the body which are mentioned in the scriptures as also given by Rupa Goswami. And here, what was the symptom? That they had become almost mad. They had forgotten themselves. So this was the attitude of the gopis. This is the topmost level of devotion. And amongst the gopis, Radha Rani is still at the top, at the very top. So that's why Bhishmadev is pleasing Lord Shri Krishna by reminding him of his relation with the gopis. And here, so through the medium of these, through this glorification, Bhishmadev, what he is trying to impress upon us, Bhishmadev is trying that he is glorifying, first of all, he is glorifying devotees. He is not glorifying himself. That means our devotee should be humble. Bhishmadev is not considering himself as a devotee. He is considering Arjuna as a devotee, he is considering gopis as a devotee, but he does not consider himself as a devotee. This is the attitude of a devotee. Bhishmadev is glorifying the devotion. Yes, that is the focus. What is that? Devotion brings focus towards the Lord, not any mechanical process of meditation. Then Bhismadev also says that the Lord is pleased when his devotees are glorified. Arjuna, gopis, Gopavadhava. And finally, Bhismadev is saying that he is praying to have the mercy of the gopis. He is not imitating the action of gopis. This Srila Prabhupada stresses upon this point many times, that we have to respect the feeling of the gopis. We have to appreciate the feeling of the gopis. We have to keep them in our heart. We do not have to imitate the action of gopis. The mood of conjugal love is for our appreciation. And we have to pray to the exalted devotees like gopis. Gopi bhartu pad kamlar dasanu dasanu dasa. We have to pray to them to have their mercy, so that we are able to do devotion to Lord Shri Krishna. Although Bhismadev, he is a purified soul, he need not does that. He is already purified, but he is teaching us that what should be our attitude in devotion. Very beautifully brought out in this glorification through this shloka. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.